Hey, it's Brian, and I wanted to make a video for you today because I've been talking with a lot of people that have been out of the wholesaling game for a little while and they want to get back in. And one of the things that I was kind of talking with them about is what's been the biggest hurdle or struggle for you trying to get back in. And the thing that they keep telling me kind of over and over again is they know the real estate market has changed. They just don't know where to start or what to do. So, what I want to do in this video is share literally a foolproof way that you can get started in any real estate market anywhere across the country at any time just by understanding the data and the market itself. This is going to make everything so much easier for you. It's going to give you ultimate confidence and ultimate clarity. So if you've been in the business a little while, you're going to be able to use this information to dial things in and create a much stronger wholesaling business for you. Or if you are just wanting to get started into wholesaling, this is going to be the exact process that I would use to be able to understand my market to get started. Or if you've been wholesaling before and you're trying to get back into it, this is the way that I would approach any real estate market. So, one of the things that we want to look at is we need to understand the market and what's actively going on. So many people struggle with wholesaling because they guess. They guess at where they should be investing, if their market's even good. They guess at what kinds of properties to look for. They guess at what kind of an offer to make on the property, and they guess at what they can sell those deals for, and even if their buyers are going to be interested. So the quickest and easiest way to fix this is to look at the buyers in our market and understand the activity. So we can literally go anywhere. So let's just find a county. There's counties in here that I've got pulled up. Um, so let's just do something like Bexar County. So obviously this is going to be a huge area, but we can see right here we have 745,000 properties. So one of the things that we want to look at when we're looking at a market is that, look, it's not necessarily about the size of an area. It's not about the prices of properties. What we look at when it comes to making sure your market is good is there enough investor buyer activity? So I'm using a tool called PropStream right now. If you want access to PropStream, let me know. I can get you a free trial. There's lots of free things that we can use out there when it comes to looking at properties. You can use I believe, what is it, PropWire is completely free, but you're not going to be able to find information like this on Zillow, Redfin. All that information is not going to necessarily be what you need. But what we're looking for is we come underneath filters. And again, don't use any of these other things. What we're going to do is build out our own filter. So we're going to start with residential. We want to do single family, and then we can also do small multifamily to kind of start out. We can add other stuff in later. Don't overcomplicate it. One of the things that I like to use whenever I'm looking at properties, I like to try to set building square feet and lot size just to make it a little bit easier for us. So whenever it comes to comping, but we're not going to worry about that right now. The other thing we want is just bare essentials here. I just want to show you what we're looking at. So anything that's not listed on the MLS, we want, scroll down here, owner occupied. So we want investor buyer information. We want non-owner occupied. Okay. So absentee owned is another term for that, but that's what we want to look at. Now, for buyers, what I like to look at is I only work with buyers that are corporate buyers, people that are buying their properties inside of a company versus individual. These are mom and pop investors. When it comes to buyers, we don't want a big buyers list. More buyers is not more opportunity. We want to identify the best buyers that we're going to work with. So you're going to see right here, corporate buyers is what we want to start with. And let's see here. That's going to get us basically 36,000 investor buyers in the area. Now, obviously, we know that this is a great market. It's a huge market. So if you want to run a little test to see if your market is good, good enough for wholesaling, what we want to look at is right here where we have last sale date. So if we just go back a couple of months, so let's just say you go back 3 months. We want this number right here to be at least 100 properties, okay? If your market that you live in or plan to invest in a 6-month time frame has less than 100 properties, there's not enough demand for you to be able to sell your property. So that's what I look at when it comes to looking at markets. It's not necessarily the size of the market, how long stuff sat on the market. We're not retail real estate, agents or anything like that. So what we look at is investor buyers. If there's 100 investor buyers, then we know it's a good deal. So that's one thing we can kind of look at. Now, obviously, we know there's a significant amount of buyers here, so we can shorten this down. So if you have 100 or 200 buyers in your market, that's perfect. Let me just go to September, see what that does for me. That's going to get me a pretty big chunk there, 111 properties. Bam. So if I click on that, I can see I have 111 properties here. This is going to tell us a ton of information about our market. So select this, click actions. We can click save. We're going to put a new list. So we're going to call this Bexar County. and then it was 10, 1, 25 until 9, 1, 25 to 10, 25. So click save. So now that we've got that saved, I'm able to export this list out, and this is where the fun is going to start. So if we click here, scroll down to Bexar County, I can export this list. Now, when I export this list, this is where the magic is going to start to happen. Because again, you're trying to get into your wholesaling in a market. So we need to understand the market. And the best way to do that is these are all the investors that are actively buying properties. Now, in your area, you're probably going to want to go back a minimum of 3 months, even if it is a bigger list. The reason I say that is because just for now, for the purposes of the video today, I just wanted to do a smaller list. But if we come in here and we look at this information, we can see a lot of really important stuff. So one of the things we can see here is we can see zip codes. So if we sort based on zip codes, we can identify what areas are the most popular for investors. So for example, if we click sort and filter, A to Z, we come in here, we could see, we could count up these zip codes. So if we find the top 2 or 3 zip codes, we know that that's going to be where the investor is looking for. All right. Now, if we come over here a little bit, we can also see right here, owner and last name. So these are all companies that are buying properties. If we click sort and filter A to Z, we can also see, look at all these people that are buying multiple properties in a short time frame. So what does that tell us? That tells us this is a really strong market where there's lots of savvy investors that are buying properties consistently. All right. So right now we know, bam, who is buying the most amount of properties. We also know with a little bit of research, what zip codes are they buying in. We can also go a little bit deeper, see if there's certain zip codes they're buying in. We can also see here, what kinds of properties are they buying? Obviously, it's going to be the majority, single family. So in this area, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 multifamily, the other 100 and something were all single families. Now here you go. We can also find out bedrooms. How many bedrooms are they buying? How many bathrooms are they buying? What is the square foot? What is the year built? This is all information that is crucial for us to be able to understand our market. By having this information, we're going to be able to now take this information and understand this is where they're buying. This is what they're buying. This is going to give you the ultimate insight to know exactly what is going on in your market. Now, this is exactly what I do with my students. Now, obviously, we have a lot of tools that I've developed to kind of parse this information out so that way we can use it and have kind of a visual representation. But there's a lot of things that we can do with this information. We now know who the best investors are in our market that are buying properties consistently. We also know what types of properties they're buying, where they're buying them. Now, here's going to be an amazing bit of information that we get as well. Let's take a look right here. We can see our last sale amount. So I did a little bit kind of screw this up because I picked a Texas county. Texas is what we call a non-disclosure state. So right here we can see the estimated amounts. Now we can see here these are MLS sold properties. So if you're in a non-disclosure state and you see some listings here, those are going to be MLS properties. But if we were to compare these two right here, last sale amount and estimated value, this magically will tell us what they paid for the property and then what the value of the property is. Why is that important? We now know who those buyers are that are paying the most for properties in your area. If you knew this information, how much more powerful would it be for you to now know where to invest, what kinds of properties to look for, and then exactly who your buyers are going to be, what those buyers are willing to pay for those deals. You now have all of the information that you need to jump into a market and feel very confident. Now, if this resonated with you, if this sounds like a better way to do deals, reach out to me. Let me know in the DMs or send me a message. I'd love to be able to send you over some training on how to get deeper information on this. Because again, I've got tons of tools and ways that I use this with my students to be able to do this automatically, so that way you don't have to go through the process of trial and error and figuring all this out through Excel. But I just wanted to share with you that all of the information is available to you in your market to know if your market's good for investing, where you want to invest, what you should be investing in, what kinds of properties to look for. Now, we could take this information, we can now then go into PropStream again, input everything that our buyers want as far as properties go, And we can apply filters now to be able to use that to be able to pull the right list. So let me give you a quick example here. So if we go back into that list, let's just say, I don't know exactly what zip codes had the most amount, but let's just pick a couple of these zip codes. So we'll just do these 3 zip codes right here. So what's really powerful about this, let's just say we come in here and we're going to clear all, we'll do our Bexar County again. If we come in here and do filters, so we know obviously they want residential properties and single family properties. Let's just say that all of our buyers were buying a minimum of 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom properties. We could include that. Let's say we had like a sweet spot for year built. Say we had a sweet spot for building size, lot size. We could enter all that information in there. And what's really awesome is as we scroll down here, we could plug in that information from those lists. So instead of doing our full county, well, we could look at, let's just say, for example, if we would never do this, there's a lot of filtering I do before I ever build a list, but let's just say we came in here and did a vacant list. Now, what's really powerful is that instead of doing the full county, we could plug in those zip codes now. And that's going to give us a smaller list that we could start that's in our target zip codes. Let's say these were the best zip codes in the market. We could now, again, take this information from this list, take more of it, and apply filters. So that way we're getting smaller lists that are going to be a lot more targeted. That's going to be the key to taking this to the next level. But again, if you're new to the business, or if you're already doing deals, or if you are trying to get back into the business and not sure where to start, this type of information is exactly what you need to have the confidence to make your wholesaling business easier. So many people are just throwing stuff out there trying to see what's going to stick. This is the kind of information that you need to be able to get much better information out of this. So hopefully that helps. If you want to find out more about this, I do work with students lots of different ways. I have a couple different trainings. I also do one-on-one mentorship. I try to keep everything super affordable. I've got options for everybody. So if you want to get some help with stuff like this, just reach out. Let me know. You can find me on Facebook. You respond to an email, whatever you need to do to get a hold of me. And I'll talk about some ways that I can help you use this information. So hopefully you all have a great day. Talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.